guys, so we are here camping in Kauai. Now this is not our first camping trip to Hawaii. We've done a couple of camping trips to Oahu, and right before this trip, Isabel, Gabby, and I went to the Big Island and camped there. So we've camped on 3 different islands. So I wanted to share with you what we packed to come camping here, and also like a big thing is people ask, is it safe? And so it really depends campground by campground, but we're here at Anini in Kauai, and I think this is one of the best campgrounds. For one, it totally feels safe because you're surrounded by all these other campers, and 2, security does come through. They don't come through every night, but they do come through and check your permit, which is kind of cool. It makes me feel good. I appreciate that they're looking out for our safety. But the other big reason is it's only $3 a night per adult. The trick with that is you do have to reserve it about a month ahead of time, and it's a little bit involved because you got to send verification of ID and all these other things. So that part's hard, but it was great for $9 for our family because there was only 3 adults and 3 kids. $9 a night, you can't beat that. So let me show you a couple of the things real quick about Anini. Like, you have this big grass area, but then you also have where the tree line is right by the beach, so you can camp there. A couple nights we had moved up closer to the water. You can hear the waves crash at night. The stars are incredible, so it's really great. Let me show you what we brought. So one of the things is when we landed, all 3 of those islands, Big Island, Kauai, and Oahu, all have a Costco right by the airport. So we went and just bought a tent because I had a feeling they had one at Costco. We had a backup plan. We had already brought a 3-person tent, our REI Passage 3, because the girls and I were on the Big Island and we used that, and we used it to backpack the Nepali coast. But when we got here, we also grabbed this one too. You obviously can bring a tent with you, but this tent worked out pretty good just because it fit all of us. So like some nights we didn't want to set up both tents. We have a huge, this is our footprint for our Passage 3, and it was kind of nice just to use it instead of underneath because it didn't rain a lot while we were here. Instead of using it underneath, we just used it as a doormat. When you're camping on the grass, it wasn't too bad getting it dirty inside, but when we were camping on the sand, it was a constant battle of sweeping out the tent, so keep that in mind. As far as sleep pads go, we have a couple different that we use. This Flash is awesome if you're traveling on an airplane. We use these to go backpack Tour de Mont Blanc, and they pack down really small. We have a review of all of these sleep pads on our website, and these ones are really good, but because we've used it for so long and it's getting moldy, I ended up packing one of these so that you can inflate them in the car. If you're car camping, it's kind of nice to have that. When we went through Europe, all of our sleep pads were like that, and so we would just inflate them that way because manually, that one takes about 30 breaths. This one is also one that you have to inflate. This one's been great. We've had this one for about 5 years. I don't think REI has this exact brand anymore, but this one's been pretty good. It's held up for about 5 years. It takes about 40 breaths if you don't have one of those electric air pumps. But we've been transitioning just to self-inflating ones. Wow, this one's brand new. Look how dirty it got. This self-inflating one is really nice. The Sea to Summit one, it's kind of a nice in-between because it still packs down about this big, so it's easy to take on an airplane. It's pretty good cushioning. You just have to finish it off with about maybe 10 breaths. We've had this Trekker for the kids for a really long time. This one's also awesome because it's self-inflating, pretty good thickness for the kids especially. And then this is my favorite. This one is awesome. It's actually Victor's, but when he's not with us, I always steal it. This thing does not pack down very small, but technically when we pack it in a backpack, it's about the same dimensions as our Passage 3 tent, so it still works. You can get a tent and this in your backpack. This thing is, I don't know how many, it's maybe 2.5 inches. It makes all the difference. I highly recommend it. Victor was saying how, because he's pretty wide and all muscle, of course, and so he likes it because he can lay on his back and he feels like he fits on it. He'll try some of those other ones and it's horrible. So this one's really my go-to. All right. So that's our sleeping arrangements. Follow me over here. So as far as what we brought for sleeping, for blankets and stuff, huge diversity. One thing we brought, because sometimes it's really hot, it's winter right now. We almost always do this in the winter, so it's actually colder than you expect. But sometimes we've done it closer to summer, and I just bring a sheet, and that's enough. Not this case, not this time. We brought our 3 sleeping bags with us because we were backpacking in the Pali Coast, so that kind of covered Gabby, Isabel, and I. For the little, Victor ended up just getting the sheet, and then at Costco they had these awesome blankets. These actually, I wish if I had known Costco had these ahead of time, I would have just bought 6 of these. They were like $12 at Costco. And these blankets, I don't want to take the whole thing out, but they're just packable blankets, but they're synthetic down. They were so warm. So those are a good buy. Most of us just did not sleep with a pillow. However, Victor brought this, and I just went to Walmart and got myself a pillow because happy mom, happy life, right? Happy wife, happy life. So we knew that if I was grumpy, it would not be good, so $6 at Walmart. Next, let's talk cooking. So a lot of our cook stuff we've traveled with us abroad often. Cutting boards, kind of a necessity. We usually make our food in the campground, so it's really important that we can cook a lot of food. I think if you're single doing this, you could get by with cutting board. I don't have Isabel's blade. We always carry her knife with us, and you could get by with probably just the jet boil. But we save our jet boil pretty much exclusively for coffee. We only need like 4 cups of coffee maybe in the morning, and then we're good. This pour over has been wonderful. Grabbed a coffee grinder, and then these collapsible cups have been really good. I'm kind of picky about stuff like this, and I'm really surprised that the coffee still tasted good in these silicone cups. Whenever you land, you're going to have to you can't carry this on the plane, so you're going to have to find your fuel. Ace Hardware's is where you get those. Once we land, I always have to go track down a lighter, which is of course easy to do. We didn't travel with our shampoo or soap. I just grabbed that when they're there. Don't judge me that I didn't get a natural soap. It's camping, and so sometimes you want something that actually cleans your dishes. Make sure you bring a couple like microfiber towels are great. Definitely something for your tent. So we just bought this one. So we got here at Foodland, $3, but you're gonna need that for the sand. We ended up just carrying all of our silverware. One thing also I did when we landed, we went to Costco and I just bought a set of Tupperware because then I could use it for food storage and it was used for our bowls. Also for cooking, we have these MSR pocket rockets. They pack down really small, and then you can it's nice because if I have 2, these bowls come in 3 sizes. So you can cook a lot of food this way. They are a little tippy for using them on here. I know there's a base you can get that I never have, but that makes it a little bit easier. I still brought all of these for cooking, and a can opener. Forgot the wine bottle opener though this time, so that's okay. You can technically drink out of the taps here. The water's fine, but we did notice the mineral content is different. Well, when we were in the Big Island, so we started either filtering with this before with the Hydro Blue Go Flow, or you can there's places to just go refill water bottles. So one thing to keep in mind. These microfiber towels or quick dry towels are really great. I highly recommend these because we did bring one regular towel, which was nice as an extra cushion for sleeping on, or is nice for blankets and on the beach, but it gets dirty and it does not clean that well, so it's heavy. So this, I definitely would recommend bringing these as opposed to this. We always travel with our yoga mat, so that was also very useful. A couple board games to play while you're in the campground. Okay, last is lighting. Now that, I think when you're camping, makes a huge difference because it does get dark like at 6:30. Sun's at 6:30, it gets dark by 7. So it was nice to have a variety of lights, especially when you're camping with kids because they get scared of the dark. These BioLite headlamps are really awesome. They're super bright. You really could just have this. The only problem is if you let them die. So we usually charge ours while we're driving around because you can charge them just off of your car outlet. We also have the Lucy lights because they're solar, so while we're driving around during the day, we put those on the dash to make sure they are charged. And then the BioLite, lantern, is also nice as a backup. This thing is really, really bright, but it's not as, sometimes it's not functional, you gotta keep it charged. The last, I usually bring these for inside the tent, but they're battery operated, so lasted the first 4 days, it was great with battery. But then the batteries, of course, die, so either bring backup batteries, which I didn't, or buy more batteries, which I won't. So we resort to these. But having a diversity of lights is really nice. That way, if you get solar, you're good. If you get electricity, you're good. If not, you'll survive. Okay, I think that covered. The only other thing is when we landed, we also grabbed plastic boxes at Costco, which was nice because then I have a box for all of our food and a box for all of our dishes. We did not get a cooler this time because I didn't want to have to deal with having a cooler, but I should have. I think if you can either bring a cooler with you or buy one when you get here, it probably would make things much easier. Next time I will absolutely get a cooler. All right, thanks. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and check out the blog for the complete pack list.